皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So this is the Omake talk for the video where I talked about the 10 taboos of chopsticks, using chopsticks in Japan. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have not watched the main video yet, it's inside the description box. I hope you can jump to it through the link there. Okay? So in today's Omake talk, as I said at the very end of the main video, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I was raised about chopsticks. And I have two daughters right now, okay? Right now, right? So I wanted to talk also about how I'm going to be teaching them about chopsticks, and also the about 40 other chopstick taboos. I have actually a list of them, really useful websites. So I wanted to take a look at a few other ones and just wanted to quickly introduce the other ones. The 10 taboos that I picked up in my main video are the ones that I thought are the most important ones, especially important, because the other ones are a little bit too, what should I say, too much, I guess, because a lot of Japanese people probably don't even know about them either. But the 10 that I introduced would definitely be the ones that most Japanese people know, yes. So anyways, first about the topics about how I was taught about chopsticks, yes. So my parents were actually very, very strict about how I use my chopsticks, They would really teach me that how I use my chopsticks would literally be how I would be seen as a human being almost, yes. And I think the people around me, like my friends, most of my friends were taught almost like the same way, right? So it's almost like being able to say your greetings properly. Like if you can say good morning, if you can say thank you or sorry, being able to use chopsticks properly was like the same level, So every time if I would make a mistake during, having lunch or dinner at home, my father would literally hit my hand or beat me if I make mistakes. Yeah, so it was really that strict. And there were quite a lot of my friends were also taught like that too, at that level, But recently for example, young kids now, like in their elementary school and such, they are definitely not taught as strict, Of course, the generation is completely different, and, the strictness that used to be in Japan, like beating or, hitting, it's been criticized on the media and such, and society itself is changing, and that's a good thing. But it's really difficult, this change, as a person grew up in a generation that was taught very strictly about chopsticks, or saying, for example, in Japan we say itadakimasu and gochusou-sama before and after the meal, right? Because I was taught these things very strictly, inside me, I feel that it's still really important, but gradually these manners are fading away, And if you have like something similar in your country too, it'd be great if you can share with me. Because itadakimasu and gochusou-sama, for example, just like the other chopstick rules, itadakimasu and gochusou-sama is it's like a phrase you say to be very thankful for the food you eat, yes. And in the past, people really had a hard time to actually get to the food they're eating, right? It was really hard that a lot of people would literally starve and die. So they were super thankful when they actually got to their food. So they could say itadakimasu and gochusou-sama from the bottom of their hearts, right? But for example, my kids, I do of course teach them to say itadakimasu and gochusou-sama before and after the meal, but because food is so accessible for them, like too easy, right? You can just walk outside, few minutes walk, there's a convenience store, there's a 7-Eleven, you just pay like a few hundred yen and you can eat whatever you like, right? Yes. So it's so difficult. It's the same with chopsticks too. I mean, in the past, because people would usually work in the same company for almost all of their lives, or be in the same community, in the same city, for example. So if you're seen as a person who doesn't have manners even once, you're going to be kicked out of that community or won't be able to continue living in that society, right? That small city or such. So it was really, really important that people would see you, understand you as a proper person. But again, this is also changing. You can go wherever you want to. You don't have to stay in one city. If you don't like that company, you can just move out of that company and find a different job and such. And, having food with someone and communicating, definitely how important it is completely changing. But For me, of course, it was really hard for me to be very strictly taught about these things, being beaten by my father and such. It was a really hard experience. But I think, having good table manners or saying your thank yous before and after a meal, I think it's really, it's polite and I think it's really good for your mind as well to be always be thankful for the things around you. And also, having good manners in terms of chopsticks, for my personal point of view, is really like a way to respect others. You do definitely look more, what should I say? Not elegant, not beautiful, but you do look more proper, definitely. You would look less vulgar, if that makes sense. Yes, if you do the proper chopstick ways of using it, proper ways of using the chopsticks, right? So I think still, even today, for the kids today, like in my children's generation, I personally feel that's still important to, as a way to show your respect, kind of like a way to show your hospitality almost to the other people. Yes. So I would definitely, not as strict as my father, that was a little bit, too much, but I would definitely still want to teach my kids about proper manners, about chopsticks, yes. Even if the other kids in their classes won't be taught that much, yes. All right, so let me introduce a couple of the other chopstick taboos I have here on my list. It is a really interesting website that has all of it. Actually, it's in a row of the IUAO, actually, and there's so many others I just wanted to quickly introduce to you. The first one written here, for example, is araibashi. It's a taboo where you use soups to wash your chopsticks. Yeah, so if you get your chopsticks dirty, you might use the miso soup, for example, to wash your chopsticks. That's very, very nasty. Also, ukebashi. Okay. Ukebashi is, ukeru means to receive and stuff like that, or hold on to. So it's a taboo where you have your chopsticks in your hand, and for example, you say itadakimasu or gochiso-sama, which is a taboo. You should have your chopsticks on your chopstick rest and say itadakimasu and gochiso-sama. Yes, that's one thing. And also, it's also called ogamibashi. Okay, that is the same thing. Oh, this is something really obvious. Otoshibashi. Otos means to drop. So you shouldn't drop your chopsticks while you eat. Yeah, of course. That's I don't know if this should be considered a taboo, but it was written here, definitely. All right. And also kamibashi. Yeah, chewing on your chopsticks is not good. Yeah, kuwaebashi is something really easy too. It's about like putting your chopsticks inside your mouth even though you're not eating anything with it. And what else do we have here? Yes. This one is definitely something that a lot of kids would probably be scolded by by their parents. It's tatakibashi. It's using your chopsticks to hit tableware, plates or bowls, like an instrument, like drums. Tataku means to hit, like hit a drum, so a lot of people do that. A lot of kids do that, right, and they would probably be scolded by their parents. On this one is also interesting too. Chigiribashi. Chigiru means to tear apart. It's about using your chopsticks like a knife and a fork and try to cut something. Yeah, you tend to do that when it's something that's really hard to cut using just one hand. I've done it before when I was a child, yes, definitely. And also this last one I wanted to introduce here is namidabashi. I was actually considering putting this in the 10 topics, but it's something really difficult. What namida means tears, crying tears, And it's about that you shouldn't be dripping any kind of, like, for example, soup or any kind of liquid from your food as you eat with chopsticks. But to be honest, that is so difficult. For example, if you wanted to eat the food inside your miso soup and you don't want to drip any liquid off of it, it takes a lot of time and it's also really difficult. Harumi, my wife, makes miso soup for me every day, and because I didn't actually even know about this namidawashi before, and I tried to do it, the proper way of not dripping any liquid from for example, the wakame, the seaweed, or the tofu that was inside the miso soup. It was really, really difficult, yes. But anyways, that was another taboo too. Yes, it was really interesting. All right. So then everyone, once again, thank you so much for watching the main video and also listening to this podcast. Thank you so much. And by the way, if you want to know anything else about table manners in Japan or other manners regarding anything else would be fine. So far, I'm planning on making videos talking about manners regarding sushi, and also sake will be coming up. And also taboos, it's a little bit different from food, but also shrines and temples I have in mind so far. So if there's anything else you'd like to know, please let me know in the comments, okay? Alright everyone, thank you so much. ありがとうございました。